All right, 49ers update time. We got more on Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall for you. Going to give you the grades as well as Casper passes Mission Dolores, the oldest building in San Francisco. You could see the structure is the one over on the left. The tower, the church tower, is a little bit newer. But anyway, Brock Purdy would not have practiced today if the 49ers had a practice. They had to release a practice estimation report. They will actually be out on the field for a slower speed session tomorrow. The estimation report did say that Mac Jones would have been a full participant, so at this point of the week, it might be likelier that Mac starts on Thursday against the Rams than Brock Purdy. Although we'll update you tomorrow as Casper continues along his way by Mission Dolores here in San Francisco. We got a cool destination here. You can guess where I'm headed to. Type it into the comment section and we'll go from there. Ricky Pearsall also would not have practiced today. There is a guess that it's going to be a PCL, a minor PCL injury for Ricky Pearsall, which I would say is getting off fairly good if you're the 49ers, considering the fact that he was talking about knee instability after the game on Sunday and had to come out of that game after hitting his knee hard onto the ground during that one deep out pattern that he tried to toe tap at the sideline. So that may cost Ricky Pearsall this game, though. And the 49ers, who have Jauan Jennings dealing with three things, a new rib injury, an ankle, and a shoulder, they might be down both of those guys, plus Brandon Ayuk. I mean, they are in a world of hurt right now. And it's a good thing they stashed those 3 wins to begin the regular season, because a loss here, obviously the division loss is always damaging, but the 49ers are already 2-0 in the NFC West, and 3-2 would not be the end of the world. They are underdogs in this game against the Rams. Let's make that clear, because the Rams are going to test them in many, many different ways coming off that big win against the Colts. But we look at the recap for this Jags game before we firmly turn the page over to the Rams game. I mentioned some of the good defensive news for the 49ers, the fact that they were able to deliver a second half that was respectable. They only gave up 3.2 yards per play after the break, after they really got torched in the first half. So they made some progress in that stage of the game. And I think offensively, one of the more hidden points of progress, and so a lot of people just seem to be ignoring everything but the drops and interceptions. And I get it that the drops and interceptions certainly created an overwhelming vibe in this game yesterday. But the 49ers had a 12.9% explosive play rate in this game, which is a 77th percentile score. This was the first time all season that the 49ers had posted an above average explosive play rate. And if they can continue to do that while also reining in the mistakes, like the drops and the interceptions, that would also help the explosive play rate in and of itself. But mainly pair an explosive rate with fewer mistakes. That's how you loosen it up for a run game, because a run game can thrive when you're on schedule in this league. And you could remain on schedule if you're ahead. If you're delivering explosives without the negatives, without the turnover-worthy plays, well, then you're typically going to be on schedule in this league. So when I did my grades, I noted that in the section for Brock Purdy, and we can also note the fact that he fought through the toe injury in this game. You know, it seemed apparent when we were watching that he wasn't quiet delivering at 100% of his comfort level. I thought that he still did a lot of good things in the football game. I think that it's okay to look at this with the gray area that's needed and not give him an F, not give him a D. So it was a C performance from Brock Purdy with some exceptional plays, some bad throws, and not his completely typical accuracy, but he was far from the biggest problem on a day where the 49ers saw an 11.1% drop rate. There have been 124 games so far in this NFL season. Oh boy, Casper's doing some crazy stuff here, crossing over Market Street. Finally made it across Market Street. We had to go kind of on the red light there. Anyway, we're going to spin this back and keep on talking to you. But when you talk about the 49ers drop rate at 11.1% out of 124 NFL games so far this year, that drop rate for San Francisco ranked 120th. That's a third percentile drop rate. 97% of receiver performances cumulatively this year in games were better than the one the 49ers delivered from a drop perspective. So I gave the wideouts in this great game a D. I couldn't give him an F because Ricky Pearsall was really good over his 37 snaps. He didn't drop a single pass. Demarcus Robinson had a nice catch. Jennings, even though he dropped the one in the end zone, had a great catch, which he sacrificed a lot for. The 2-point conversion that he grabbed. I mean, that was where he hurt the ribs, and he held on to the ball. So D for the receivers, just because Kendrick Bourne and those 3 drops, and Jennings and that one in the end zone, that was really, really brutal. The running back position is tough to grade for the 49ers because they're not obviously running the ball efficiently, but Christian McCaffrey is receiving the ball very efficiently. It's been a saving grace of sorts for the receivers, although he too wasn't able to hold on to a pass or two in the game yesterday. The 49ers are one of 3 NFL teams without a run of 20 or more yards. That is a staggering statistic. So is the fact that the 49ers do not have a rushing touchdown to their name yet. The spectacular McCaffrey play that ended up in a score yesterday was actually a pass because it was a shovel pass forward for Brock Purdy. So everybody asked the question, who's at fault for the 49ers' lack of rushing efficiency? And to that, I have to say, well, when I see Christian McCaffrey show plenty of juice on the shovel pass, and I see him show plenty of juice in the receiving game, even though he hadn't held on to the ball the way that he has in the past, but movement-wise, he's shown plenty of juice. I've seen him in practice showing plenty of juice. I tend to think that the fault doesn't lie with the running backs here. I mean, we know that a big part of the problem has been the lack of explosive pass plays, and has set the 49ers up for some run defenses that are very effectively contained their explosive runs. But there have also been some blocking issues, and this is obvious. When you're missing George Kittle, you're missing one of the most valuable run blocking pieces in the game. I do think that the lack of rushing success and the running back grade that we're giving here ties very directly into the offensive line grade, though. So I'm giving the running backs a C because of what McCaffrey has been able to continue doing in the past games, nearly 100 receiving yards in this one, and he did have some rushing success before things fell behind schedule. But I'm giving the 49ers offensive line a D+. And not all these linemen are created equal for San Francisco. They are getting an extremely good level of contribution from Colton McKivitz. He actually is PFF's top graded right tackle in all of football, and Trent Williams is actually ranked number 5 amongst all tackles in all of football. So the tackle positions have been fine for the 49ers. Center and right guard with Jake Brendel and Dominic Pooney have been just about average for San Francisco. It is the left guard spot with rookie Connor Colby that has just really, really struggled for San Francisco over the course of the past 2 weeks. Making our way through Cole Valley, Haight-Ashbury. This is a nice drive. You guys might be guessing where I'm headed toward right now. Again, guess in the comment section because this is very 49ers related right now. Here we are making the turn. I'm just going to keep the camera this way. This is a new part of the tour for you guys. We've never taken Casper through this neighborhood. But Connor Colby has given up 10 pressures over his 2 starts for San Francisco. That's a lot. And you know what? Trent Williams gave up 4 pressures yesterday. Colby 5, Trent Williams 4. And a lot of people said, oh boy, Trent Williams, he's too old, he's washed, this is not good. Trent simultaneously was the 49ers' highest graded offensive player yesterday, despite giving up those 4 pressures, which I think should lead people to believe that maybe he's not the problem on a lot of the pressures that he gave up. There's the downtown area of Cole Valley, one of the cool neighborhoods in San Francisco. Trent might be picking up some of the slack. And when I watch this on tape, I think it's clear that he's helping pick up some of the slack that has been left behind by Connor Colby's struggles. And before we pile on too much on Connor Colby, we have to remember as well that he hurt his groin right before his first NFL start 2 Thursdays ago, and I don't think that's helping matters either. But the 49ers offensive line basically has one glaring weakness spot right now, and that is the left guard position. What do they do there? If Colby isn't fully healthy, they've got to give either Nick Zakelj or Drew Moss a look. Maybe Colby is healing and they think that he's going to be able to round into better form, but allowing 5 pressures a game just is not going to get it done. That's pressure right up the gut for Brock Purdy, and I think, as I said, I connected to the run game. I also think that they're getting blown up a little too much inside, and your margins are really, really narrow as long as George Kittle is not available. So it's a particularly rough position right now for Connor Colby at that left guard spot. But the good news for the 49ers is that typically you can find replacement level guards, maybe even John Feliciano, who's been on the channel recently. Typically that's a possibility. And they really need to plug the gap at that left guard position, either through Colby's improvement or through outside help or through the return of Ben Barch, who's on injured reserve for at least 2 more games. Well, we're very, very close here to our final destination, crossing the N Judah line tracks. I think that you guys can see it appearing in the middle of a San Francisco neighborhood, the former home of the 49ers. This is Kezar Stadium. A lot of good 49ers football, great 49ers football played at this legendary venue. So maybe it's not the most fitting place to give out these grades because they are not so spectacular for San Francisco. But the defensive line, give them a C-. First game without Nick Bosa. They managed only 4 pressures. Now, the defense did turn it around in the second half. I get that, and I think that's really important context to all of this. Robert Saleh was able to use some smoke and mirrors to manufacture pressure for San Francisco, and that's going to be very important for the 49ers moving forward. But they still probably are going to need an addition if they're going to truly contend in this season, because you can only use smoke and mirrors for so long. You're going to need to use that pass rush with 4 and really be able to generate that heat without blitzing. Just ask the Detroit Lions from last season how it went in the playoffs without Aiden Hutchinson. I still thought that Bryce Huff did some good things against the run, and that's important for the 49ers' bigger picture along this defensive line. But as we knew, Nick Bosa is an irreplaceable player. And when that's the case, you're going to have to find a way to pick up the slack from a lot of different spots. End of the day, best news for the 49ers was that they successfully did that over the second half, but the sustainability of that effort, since Robert Saleh is having to pull a lot of tricks out of the book, can be very fairly put into question. Now, one thing that will help the sustainability of that effort is the fact that the 49ers may have the best player in football still healthy on their defense, and that is Fred Warner. Give the linebackers a B because the Etienne Jr. touchdown run, Michael Williams couldn't seal the edge. D. Winters couldn't seal the edge from his weak side linebacker position. Fred Warner, it seems like a mistake-free player at this point. He's the PFF's highest graded player in all of football, and he's going to face the second highest graded player, a guy who went to his college, BYU. They didn't overlap there on Thursday. That's Puka Nacua of the Rams, who had 170 receiving yards. But Warner is sublime. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite grab 2 interception chances for the 49ers on Sunday. 2 balls that bounced up in the air, and it looked like Warner was about to grab them. They still don't have a pick since last November, week 11 of the 2024 season, but something tells me that Warner is knocking a bunch of balls out. Like yesterday, he had another forced fumble, the 17th of his career. That is now a record on his own for the most in 49ers franchise history. He was tied with Patrick Willis, and now he passes Patrick Willis. Something tells me that Fred Warner might be breaking that 49ers interception drought at some point soon. He is just spectacular, and 49ers are sure fortunate they're going to have him on the defense facing the Rams on Thursday, because LA is going to attack the 49ers and test them in many different ways, including the pass game where they've got Nakua and Devontae Adams. Now, remember that last year at Levi Stadium, Matthew Stafford served up 3 early potential interceptions to the 49ers, and they just dropped all of those opportunities. They finally have to catch one. Maybe they'll see some better grades from the back 7. I gave the linebackers a B because Winters wasn't perfect, although Warner seems to always be close to perfect. I gave the safeties a D+. Pinnock got beat on Etienne's touchdown run, and Marquis Siegel got beat on the first touchdown to the tight end for Tampa Bay, and I gave the 49ers corners a C. Darrell Luter Jr. was their best DB against the run yesterday, and he might have to play if Renardo Green can't go again with his neck injury, so I don't think Luter was bad at all. Stout had the interception that was nullified. He played solid. Diameter Lenore, I just think that the alignments for the 49ers in the first half were a little too far off the ball, but they tightened things up in the second half, which was great for them as they held Jacksonville to only 92 yards. Still, overall, for the defense, I found it impossible to give anybody higher than a C, so that's what I gave the DBs. Finally, special teams, an absolute abomination. We'll say F for the 49ers special teams. Total failure. Remember, they won this game, if you only count offense and defense, 21-20. They outgained Jacksonville too, only offense and defense. But special teams, well, they got outgained by about 100 yards on returns, and they were very clearly the culprit, the primary culprit for the margin that we saw, a 5-point win for Jacksonville. 49ers lost 5 expected points on special teams. There are your grades. Here is Kyle Shanahan on his conference call Monday morning.
All right, guys. Hey, we haven't seen many guys today. It's still early. We'll have more of an injury report later out today. What I got right now for you guys is similar to last night. Just Ricky Pearsall with his knee. We'll still evaluating that for later today. Jauan Jennings with his ribs. I did say it last night with Brock Purdy, complaining on some soreness with his toe this morning. So we'll have to look into that more later today. And that's all we got right now. So go ahead, guys.
Kyle, did Brock indicate to you whether the toe was bothering him throughout the game, or was it just a morning after situation?
No, he didn't indicate it to me at all during the game. I talked to him on the phone last night, and he said it was starting to bother him a little bit last night. But nothing during the game at all.
Kyle, were you able to review any of the stuff between Robert Saleh and Liam Cohen after the fact, more video that has kind of come out from that situation?
Well, what was the first part? Did I ever what?
Were you able to review any more of the Robert with Liam after the game situation as more video trickles out?
Yeah, they showed me and gave me the quotes here right on my preparation sheet for the media. So, yeah, I saw that stuff.
Just your thoughts on it?
Not much different than last night is what it is. I mean, guys are competitive. They're sensitive after games, and I really think it's not a big deal at all.
Kyle, now that you've watched the film, what can you assess from Brock Purdy's chemistry or lack thereof with the wide receivers?
There's a couple throws I think he'd like to have back. A few throws that are a little high. One little low to Jauan, the one in the red zone. And they also made a couple big throws too and catches. So, but there's number of ones we'd like to have back.
Kyle, given the quick turnaround, do you have concerns about Brock's ability to play Thursday?
I think anytime guys are, hopefully we'll find out more later today, but anytime guys are sore and hurting on a Monday, you usually don't stress too much about it, but anytime you have a Thursday game, it's a totally different element. So, I'm concerned with anybody who's not totally healthy at this moment, but we'll have to get more information on that later today to really kind of have a clue of what to speculate.
Kyle, I know you don't have a ton of information right now, but Ricky said after the game that he felt some instability in his knee. Do you have a concern level that there might be something long-term there?
I mean, we got to get it all today, but not really. I mean, it was taking more of like a minor PCL or something like that is what our guess is. Just landing on it hard, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Obviously a huge concern with the Thursday night game and stuff, but we're not expecting it to be too bad, but we got to find out later today.
Kyle, after the game, Brock didn't discount the fact that his toe may have kind of affected his mechanics and obviously contributed to some of his inaccuracy. I don't know, did you see that when you watched the game over?
I mean, I don't see how an injury, you don't see that with your eyes. Yes, he had some inaccurate passes, which guys do in games, is that attributed to the toe? I don't know. That's something that I'll ask him later, and I'm sure you guys will too.
Right, I just mean, I don't assume you can see an injury, but just his mechanics.
Anytime you miss a throw, we point out mechanics on every play. So mechanics mechanics go in and out. Sometimes that can be overcompensating for an injury. Sometimes it's just how you set your body and moving in the pocket and always trying to get your body in a position to have the right mechanics. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. So that possibly could be the toe, or possibly could be like any other day in the NFL. So it's not a simple answer.
Was there anything on the film that jumped out about, I guess, the running game and why you guys you're only getting about 3.3 yards per carry through 4 weeks?
Yeah, if you don't have any run over 20 yards on the year, and you don't have any explosive run in that game, I think we got anyone over 11 yards, I think. But yeah, you're gonna have that yards per carry when it's like that. We got to break a big one, and that entails everyone. That includes the play calls. That includes guys blocking on the perimeter. It includes guys blocking inside, and it includes our runners creating.
Kyle, anything you see about the pass rush? It seemed like there was a lot of pressure on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, we didn't blitz a ton in the game. When we did, there was pressure, and he got rid of it. I would love to have gotten more on him, but I thought they did a good job of getting rid of it quick. And when they didn't, I thought we had 4-man rushes where they were chipping and had double teams. So it's been a little bit more on coverage that way. Always want to get more pass rush, but it wasn't a huge concern in that game.
Is Renardo Green's neck injury going to keep him out this week as well? And then how did Luter play in his place?
I hope not. We got to see how he feels. We'll see how he feels later today and throughout the week. So hopefully it'll get better and he can go. I thought Luter did a good job coming in. Had a real big play on 3rd and 1. Had one penalty I know he'd love to have back. But I thought Luter came in and did a solid job.
Did you take a closer look at Upton Stout's play where he about had the interception and was called for DPI?
Yeah, I did. Obviously I'd love for them not to call that, but I can understand why they did.
And then what about on the punt return? Did you see more than one possible clip on more than one block in the back on it?
Yeah, I saw two possible. I saw two possible ones. Neither of them were overly bad, but both of them, I believe, were possible clips. So.
Coach, I know you said you were a little not necessarily expecting any of the injuries mentioned to be like long-lasting. Just wondering, on the short week, how you kind of expect to kind of handle those three when it comes to Brock, Jauan, and Ricky, as far as like practicing, walkthroughs, things like that, to kind of, because of the injuries.
Yeah, we won't do one full speed thing the whole week with everybody, healthy or injured. And so that really doesn't change anything with those guys. Hopefully they're healthy enough to go walk through. If they're not, then you give them until Thursday on such a short week and hope they're ready to go then. And if not, we got to go with the guys behind them.
into Marcus's first game back. How did you feel like he was in the game?
I thought that was a huge catch he made over the middle. Thought he did some good things. And there's some things he needs to clean up also, just getting back into this. And this first week practicing with us, and I think that's kind of been the biggest thing with our receivers. We're going into our 5th week, and we haven't had a 1 week of practice with our 3 guys. So hopefully we can get some consistency with those guys. And I know this is his first chance to get him back, and hopefully we can stack up some weeks together with our group. But it's tough with their injuries and him being out.
Carl, I'm sure it won't be this week, but is Malik Mustafa getting closer to having his window opened up?
Yeah, I believe so. I didn't ask about that this morning, but still hoping that we can maybe possibly get him back into practice and stuff after week 6.